for the type of energy only Darren McCarty and Neil Rule can give. It's time for Big D Energy, live on Woodward Sports. Join four-time Stanley Cup champion and legendary badass Darren McCarty and the golden voice of Neil Rule, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., as they give their takes on all things Detroit sports. The number one midday show in Detroit is on. Welcome to Big D Energy.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Big D Energy. Big D. Right here on the Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neil Rule. That's my friend. That's my buddy. That's my pal. That's Sean. Hi, friend.
How you doing, buddy? I'm glad you got your Twitter back.
I did. I'm back, baby.
That was nice.
I am
that
back.
made me happy.
I'm telling you.
Did you talk to Joey?
Dude, Joey can do anything.
Yeah.
He can do anything. KG in the building. KG, what's really good?
Not the state of Michigan in basketball, unfortunately.
Yeah, Auburn.
Yeah. Oh, it don't look so bad to be Auburn now, huh?
Auburn, man. Auburn. We will discuss, no doubt about it. Spencer Raxter.
Hello.
How you doing, man? You okay?
Yeah, I mean, this year has been full of disappointment for me for all my sports teams except for the Pistons. I'm already counting the Tigers as disappointment. I just think it's not a good year for old spending when it comes to sports.
But sports bets it is.
Sports bets, different thing. But we talked about it earlier. You played a better team and you had the opportunity to win, but you couldn't hit your shots. So you're not going to beat a team that's better than you shooting 3 of 17 from 3 and not finishing layups.
And Auburn helped out as much as they could.
Yeah, they left the door open for sure.
Yep.
But Chase in the Chase Lounge, what's good, man?
Looking pretty good this week. I like some low 60s, high 50s action all through Saturday, looks like. So.
All right, good, because it sucks today again.
Yeah,
all right, anyway, that being said, yes, and Sean, we're going to get into the Michigan State stuff for sure. SEC is a basketball conference.
Yeah, all of a sudden.
The basketball conference.
It is.
Well, they always were before. Like, I know people forget about
true.
that. Like Kentucky and Florida.
Yeah, of course.
They always were. But, Sean, and you can jump into the chat, by the way. Go ahead, use the super chat. Nobody in the super chat. SEC basketball is here, and the Big Ten will be left for scraps. Good thing they're only SEC good. Neil, Tigers. The Marlins, though. Hashtag NeilBot. First place, Miami Marlins. Put some respect on it. But, Sean, we are going to get into all that we are. But I think we do have to discuss what happened in Minnesota last night with the Pistons. And, again, you look at what went down there. Sean, we talked about this, and I'll go back to it in October when I was on the preseason road trip out to the West Coast. And I told you guys many times about the Ron Holland thing. And just to reiterate it, Sean, it was a preseason game in Phoenix. There was a loose ball on the floor. Ron Holland went to the floor with the Suns player. I forget who it was off the top of my head. Ron Holland's got the ball and is not giving it up. Like, they blew the whistle. They called the jump ball. But the Suns guy wanted to get it from him, and Ron Holland was not giving it up. And I'm telling you, Sean, it's not something where I don't think he's being viewed this way properly by any stretch of the imagination. But make no mistake, Sean, for a rookie that's not a 20-point-a-game guy, it's been a minute since I've seen a rookie come in and have an impact on a team's mentality more than Ron Holland.
That's great.
Real talk.
No, 100%. I'm just watching it up. It's up on the screen right now. You love seeing it. Everybody loves this. I mean, that's the enduring image from this. And it really is, as cheesy as it sounds, it's like, okay, it's a new era now, guys. It is. It's a new era. We're going to push back. We're going to push back hard. We're going to push back harder than you. And we're not just going to go quietly into the night, as so many teams have for generations now. I mean, think about it, Neil. I was thinking about this last night. There are young basketball fans that have known nothing but brutality from this franchise. I mean, think about it. Young kids that might be a senior in high school right now. Think about a senior in high school right now, okay, where you know as well as I do, we're all a little older now, right? And so the each game isn't the dagger like it was when we were kids. But when you're a senior in high school, I'll speak for me, Every loss was a dagger. Every single loss was a dagger. These kids have seen nothing but shit in their life. There's no other way to say that. You're 18 years old today, okay? What is your memory? Maybe you start remembering the Pistons 5, 6, 7 years old. You've seen nothing but shit. You see something like this right now, man? Oh, this is what my dad told me about. Those bad guys. Or, Dad, what were they called? They were called the bad boys. Yeah, it's that stuff. I mean, that's the type of stuff. I don't care what anybody says, Neil. If the Pistons were a crappy team right now, that'd be one thing. But this is a damn good team and a damn good team with a backbone. That was great to see. I don't care what anybody
And that's the baseline. See, Sean, and I see it already. And MPWMU, thank you for giving me what I wanted. You guys never not deliver. Pistons still lost by 20. Relax.
Yeah, come on.
Then tell me you're new, WMU, because here's the deal. And I've said this before when we've seen these moments, and I'll say it again. What happened last night, once again, was bigger than a win. It was bigger than a win. Ron Holland, and obviously we knew about Isaiah Stewart before, and that's who's getting the talk, right? Because Isaiah Stewart was doing the Detroit thing, which, is very, very cool.
Yeah.
I like that Isaiah Stewart takes this personally. He does. And I've said this before about him. When he walks to the team bus, he's different. Like, just when he walks into a room, he's different. But I'm telling you guys, man, Ron Holland is the missing ingredient. From taking this team from what they were last year to this year, where you're not punking him.
Squabble up. Squabble up.
That's like KG. That's it, man. The kid's 19.
Yeah.
He's 19, and he ain't about the bullshit, man. Like, he's not.
He will square up with anybody, and he backs it up with his level of play as well.
And that's the thing. Like, it's not like, and Spenny, I've laughed before because you've described him as kind of like a crash out, which he is.
For sure.
He plays like a crash out, which is rewarded in the NBA.
Yeah.
Because it's a league where not everybody plays hard, and how could you? It's 82 games and all that kind of stuff. Ron Holland, man, all go, all gas, no breaks all the time, and he's about that life, Sean. And that is a missing ingredient, and he can play. That's the difference.
How many times have we lamented that we wanted guys that wanted to be here? Not this is a rest stop to my next place. Not this is going to be a guy that, this is going to be great, and then he's going to leave in a couple of years. There are guys that want to be here, man.
The whole
There are
team.
guys- So, like to me,
Right.
like, honestly, look at the bigger picture. Yeah, you're not wrong. I'm not going to say that the Pistons lost by 20. You're not wrong, okay? But you have to dig a little deeper than that. Okay, this is something different. This isn't a team going through the motions. These aren't guys that are waiting to, okay, maybe someone will grab me. Maybe I can be on a piece of a different team. These are guys that want to be here. These are Detroit Pistons. I think that's huge, Neil. I really do.
And listen, y'all, it's cool that, it would have been nice if they could have got that win. I think we all would have taken that win.
They weren't winning that game after that.
Yeah, of course, but they're missing 7 players. That was the point I was going to get to. They're missing fucking half their team. So, of course, they were going to win this game. And at this point, it's just about getting to the playoffs. Cade hasn't played. Tobias Harris hasn't played. And there's a reason for that. Like, if the playoffs started today, I'm pretty sure both of those guys would be on the floor. They're trying to get right for the playoffs. It'd be nice if we could have the 4th seed. But at this point, it's kind of unrealistic. We're firmly in the playoffs. It's just about being healthy for the playoffs.
Burn in the super chat. If you want to skip the line in the chat, go ahead, use that super chat. Burn. I saw ESPN have a heated talk about the Pistons. Pistons are back. Now go win a playoff game for the first time since the last year of the Bush administration. My son's going to get his driver's license next month. The Pistons haven't won a playoff game in his lifetime.
Isn't that unbelievable?
Like, that's, but that's what it is. But good. So what? Like, these guys that are there, you know what I'm saying, Sean? Like, that's what they're tasked with. They are. And I like it. And you can be mad that they lost that game. And usually, guys, I am. Right, Sean? You've heard me talk about this with the hockey stuff. Like, I know everybody gets charged up about fights and stuff like that, but they keep score by goals. Like, that's if somebody's taking a cheap shot at you, then go score on the power play. Like, that's kind of my thing. Last night was different. Last night to me was different, and D-Max Fist says last night galvanized this team. And again, it's just for me. That's where it is. Larry Roberts, Ron Holland, Sasser, and Isaiah Study weren't going. They were going to mess DiVincenzo up. That game felt like a playoff game as much as the ish was escalating. And no, it is. And don't get me wrong. Like there's a line that the team has to learn. Mm-hmm. And in the playoffs, especially because I noticed this when I watched them play the Pacers, like the Pacers played that antagonistic role. There's a line where you're going to have to stay in your shoes in the playoffs. You are, because that's for keeps. That you kind of, whatever happens there, you kind of bank it and go back to it later.
That line wasn't last night.
But that line was not last night.
Damn right.
That was not last night. That was the time. We always say time and place, right?
Yes, sir.
That was the time and that was the place. And Dante DiVincenzo to square up, you put him down in the ground.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Naz Reid almost got choked out.
Naz Reid got upset because Ron Holland fouled him, and Timberwolves fans were like, "Oh, they pushed him while he was in the air." No, he didn't. He fouled him on the arm when he went up for a layup. And Naz Reid comes over there pointing in a 19-year-old's face, and then
DiVincenzo grabbed his neck.
Then
it's on.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm mad he didn't swing on him.
Yeah.
I'm mad he didn't swing on him. Legitimately, if a grown man touches you like that, you swing on his ass. And then Isaiah Stewart put Naz Reid into the earth.
Yeah.
And
Planted him.
Stewart was there. Sasser was in there too, checking people. I mean, it's great stuff. I love to see it.
This is where, and I know I'm always the guy that preaches against linear thinking. I honestly, I've heard it forever and a day. Hi, Detroit Tigers will get to you. It doesn't always work that way, but I think this is one time, Neil, to your point, this is linear thinking. This is a step. It is. It's a step. And when they get to the playoffs, that'll be a step. And that doesn't mean that from that point on, we're going to keep going like that and everything's going to be awesome. But this was a step. I really do believe it's a step. And the next step is, okay, let's get to the playoffs and not just be happy that we're there. Wouldn't it be nice if they could skip a level there in the linear process? Because I say it all the time. When I was a kid, linear thinking became a thing in this town with the Detroit Pistons. It did. I'm convinced it started with the Detroit Pistons. And let me tell you why. They couldn't beat Dominique Wilkins. They couldn't beat Larry Bird. Mm-hmm. They couldn't beat Magic and the Lakers. And then they finally did it and won 2 championships in a row. It's not supposed to work that way. I've said it for 6 months now about the Detroit Tigers, and I'm going to continue to say it. The Detroit Tigers have been the anti-linear thinking. I hope I'm wrong. I think this Detroit Tiger team is going to be the same way. But, Neil, the short memories that people have, 2006 was magical. It was awesome. And, of course, the next year, well, we're going to go from the wild card team to we're going to run away with the Central. It doesn't work that way. It took the Tigers another 5 years before they even got back to the playoff. But I think this is a linear type of thing right now. I really do.
Woodward Sports chat thread, Aaron to the Stone. Neil, Ron Holland squared up against Reed, who had legit 6 inches and probably 100 pounds on him. Dude is different.
Squabble.
And I'm here for it. And that's like that cat is wired differently. Ron Holland does not care.
And you love to have a guy like that on your team.
You need dudes like that,
absolutely,
man, especially in the NBA, man. Like, again, I'm cool. You can be mad they lost by 20, and I usually am the one that's mad at that kind of stuff. I write the pass yesterday because it had to be done, and it was done.
Yeah.
And look, guys will get suspended. Okay. Pistons are in the playoffs for real, unlike the Timberwolves, by the way. And by the way, Timberwolves fans, you piped up with a lot to say for somebody who really, when I last checked, really hasn't done a whole hell of a lot. I don't know, ever.
Right.
Ever.
Y'all got the Patrick Beverly game. And
yeah. Like, stand down. You know what? Hey, and look, Spenny, you're that Timberwolves. You like Ann Edwards and stuff like that. When you boil them down, and I know this is going to piss people off, probably Timberwolves fans, you know who you are? You're the Hawks.
Yeah.
You're the Hawks that went to the conference finals once, and, like, that's it. Mm-hmm. And until you validate it by doing something else, that's what you are. You can tell me what you think. I'm telling you what we know about the Timberwolves.
They ran Cat out. They'll eventually run Ann out, too. That's just the trajectory of their franchise.
I can't speak to that. I just keep hearing about how great they are and how trash the Pistons are by the Timberwolves fans. But then I look at the resumes, and you are literally the Atlanta Hawks. That's what you are. Sorry, I didn't make it that way.
Fact.
You guys did. So I just wanted to get that out there.
And when these teams were fully healthy and played last time, your superstar wasn't enough.
Yeah.
He wasn't good enough to beat the Pistons at his best. He played one of the best games of his career, and he wasn't good enough.
He was barely good enough in this game. They only won because, once again, 7 fucking players are missing from your team.
Yeah, but Sean, I did see that one coming, and I meant to text a group because you know how I like to kind of say the refs are going to do this. At the end of the half, I saw that coming a mile away, where Timberwolves got the bucket. I knew they were going to call the foul right at the end of the half. There, they did, and then that was kind of the springboard for all of it. Chuck Brewer, Edwards is a front runner. He's Pippen, not an MJ. So again, it was.
I like Ant, but yeah,
I do too.
Cade's better right now. If you ask me, Cade's better.
And we know Minnesota fans fucking suck.
Yeah.
So.
And that was my long route of going, hey, Minnesota fans.
Yeah.
What have you done ever?
Right.
We're back at it, guys, aren't we?
What is it?
Aren't we?
106 seasons without a championship or something like that?
Yeah, some crazy number. What?
Are we
Sean?
doing that again?
Well,
Are we doing that again? Okay.
What have you done?
I'm in.
Minnesota.
I'm in.
The
What have
Pistons
you
have
done?
a right to say that. They do.
I'm in.
We're top 10
What have you
in
done?
all-time
I'm in.
championships.
Now send all
It's
your
the truth.
send all your social media outrage to Sean Belize.
I'm ready. I'm 100%. We dealt with it before. We'll deal with it again. 1991 was a long time ago, guys. Long time ago. Okay, I get it. That's the way that it is.
Burn in
Joe
the
Mauer sucks.
Burn in the super chat. Minnesota, this ain't the NFL. You don't talk down to the Pistons. You no ring bums. Well, they're no ring bums in football.
They
too,
still
in the
hurt from
NFL.
the Lions doing that to them. So
Minnesota, just stay down. Just stay out of this. Grown folks are talking. But yeah, so that's it. All right, when we come back, I do want to get into the Michigan State situation, the basketball weekend, I guess you could say. We got some Red Wing stuff to get. We are running the gamut here today.
Red Wings are back.
Are they?
Neil wanted them to be back
You
bad.
couldn't
He
even
do.
sell that. You tried really hard, but you couldn't do it. It
They're
didn't work
back,
so well.
man.
The only thing that was missing was like an escalating question. Red Wings are back?
Red
Right.
Wings are back.
Neil ain't put them down yet. I know you haven't. You still got
No,
the
but
shotgun.
you want to know what I'm going to overreact to?
What?
The Canadians winning at Florida.
Oh, yeah.
They were a 2-1 underdog. And they won.
It's tough.
And we got to play them twice and the Canadians.
Red
Like
Wings
those
are
are
back.
Are
That schedule the rest of the way. Did you look at the Wings schedule? Did you look at their remaining 9 games?
Not great, Bob.
It's fucking brutal.
Yeah.
This is. I'm sorry. This is
well,
what
the Canadians isn't exactly a cakewalk either.
No,
but then they won at Florida.
Yeah, comparatively speaking, though, that is it's bad, and that was something we talked about at the end of Four Nations. It was like, hey guys, I hate to be that guy. Look at the Wings schedule. I mean that winning percentage was at about 600 for the Wings the rest of the way.
Yeah, it's
That
insane.
was brutal.
Daryl Slaughter, boy, Wolves and Vikings fans are slowly moving up my list of top worst fans. Yes, I can say. Eric Wall, can we get a Javi Watch update?
I knew you was going to bite on it. I was
100%.
waiting.
Back.
I was waiting.
100% when we talk baseball.
He's back.
It's Monday. It's
You
a
couldn't
Javi
help
Watch.
yourself.
Real quick, Dante 151. Technically, the Pistons skip multiple steps by being in a playoff spot instead of a play-in game. And when Paul Reed got that
That's a
technical
fact.
last night for being mad at him, being mad at him with that foul was dumb. So, no, Dante, you're right. No, they are skipping
First
a
team in
step.
NBA history to triple their win total.
Tripled their win total, man. It's absolutely crazy. All right, Feldman Chevrolet in Novi. We're almost done with March. So if you have had your eye on that Silverado crew cab for $199 per month plus tax on a lease, you got to move. You got to scan the QR code on the screen. Or if you want the Equinox SUV for $249 a month plus tax, you got to scan the QR code on the screen for details. You can search the inventory. You can even start the whole process right then and there from your phone or your computer. They're the #1 Chevrolet dealer in the entire state of Michigan. There is nowhere else to go if you want a Chevy. It's Feldman Chevrolet. I can't confirm. I bought a car. The man to my left bought a car from there. And if you want it to be easy, you will too. Feldman Chevrolet in Novi, Michigan's #1 Chevrolet dealer. Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Big and Injuries? Big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Neil Rule here for shop.woodwardsports.com. Get the very best in Detroit sports merch. We're flying right into the sun this month, everybody. Home opener, Friday. All right, NFL draft, end of the month. You guys know how April works. Get geared up with the best in Detroit sports wearables. Shop.woodwardsports.com. All right, we're off and running. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neil Rule, Sean Belesian in for D-Mac. And, of course, we have Spencer Raxter Chase in the Chase Lounge. And just a little bit of, I don't know.
Yeah, pseudo-breaking news.
Pseudo-breaking news for the Lions, I guess. Dan Miller from Fox 2. You have to credit everybody around here. Everybody loses their minds, even though they literally don't do it with the next tweet they do. But whatever, that's not for me to discuss. Brad Holmes on Zadarius Smith said they just couldn't afford him based on their current situation with what's coming down the road. They are staying in touch with his agent. Felt like he played good snaps for them last year. Dan also says it's coming up on Fox 2 News at 5 and 6. So there you go. Shameless plug there.
Yeah.
So there is still dialogue with the Lions and Zadarius Smith. That's telling. And I guess we can take 5 minutes.
Oh, of course.
That's telling to me, Sean, because for the go get player X, like my Madden game crowd out there that I've kind of rallied against, that tells you not even about the Zadarius Smith thing. That's eye-opening to me because that tells you what the plan is.
Yeah.
You know all these Pro Bowlers that we have? I like them. You like them. We're going to make sure that they still play football for the Lions because they're really good. Mm-hmm. And this is how the game works, Sean. So even in and above the Zadarius Smith stuff, that's kind of eye-opening because that's the game plan.
Well, and I think to personalize it, it's something we talked about day one. Like, didn't we all sit in this room and go, I hope that's the type of dude that's back. I hope that he sits back after, go survey the situation, look at everything across the board. I'm never going to begrudge a dude for doing what's best for him. But with that being said, this might be best for him, Neil. This might be best for him because it's where the worlds collide. We're going to find a way to create some space for you, and you're going to have a really good chance to go get yourself a ring in a place that is now familiar with you. I hope.
Right.
There's no guarantee. I hope that he's back. I think that he could be one of those interchangeable pieces. But, man, you hit the nail on top of the head. Honest to goodness, it's almost like people forget the job that Brad Holmes has done. The job that Brad Holmes has done that made us all go, dude, this is as legitimate a team as we've ever seen, and a job that we never got to see finished because of the unbelievable amount of injuries. So now we've got a situation, if we're being honest, yes, I like our guys.
Yeah.
These are the guys that made a 15-2 team. These are the guys, oh, by the way, that weren't even part of that 15-2 team because a lot of them were injured. So, Neil, in that regard, 100%, man. I get it. We're all impatient. We all want to mix in that championship. In the back of our mind, whether we want to admit it or not, and everyone in this room is guilty, and if they lie to me right now, I'm going to look in their face and call them a liar. In the back of their mind, because we have been trained this way, we are all sitting there going, oh no, is this the best it gets? In the back of our minds, every one of us. Why? Because we're Lion fans. That's how we were brought up, okay? But the logic of the situation makes you look at this roster, makes you look at who's in charge of this roster and say, nah, this window's open, man. Yeah. This window's open. And so that's where we're at right now. It's a unique position where I'm not going to blame one person if you think, oh, man, that was it. Because in the back of our minds, Neil, I know you're the same way, okay? You know better. Your logic is stronger. But that little inner child is sitting there going, oh no, is this like fill in the blank year? That's reality. That's what we were born with, Neil.
Woodward Sports chat thread, DNC ENT. You literally could afford him. They don't want to pony up the 11 million cash, right?
Plus another $5 million the year after.
$16 million for him to play next year.
And this pretty much confirms why they cut him. The keyword down the road. So the Lions, they like to hold on to their cap space for a reason. Some of it rolls over. A good portion of it will roll over. They are looking forward to signing everybody that we love. Kirby Joseph, Gibbs, like J-Mo might get an early extension. There are guys down the road that they have to worry about, and this is why they took that precautionary measure. Plus, they're still in touch with him. So it's not out the realm of possibility that he could come back.
Z Digital in the chat. Down the road sounds like Kirby and Hutch extensions, among others.
Yeah.
Like I would imagine among others.
Kirby and Hutch and Gibbs and Branch and Laporta and J-Mo. Like, it's... There's a lot.
And now you got 16 more million to go do that with.
Wait, are you suggesting drafting really good players and then keeping your own? You aren't suggesting that, are you?
No.
That's a nuts theory. You're supposed to go out and sign everybody.
No, you got to go trade for Myles Garrett.
Yes, and make trades that, oh, by the way, that were never on the table.
You need to trade for Max Crosby then.
Yes. Never. Wasn't happening.
Wait a minute.
I was told, Neil Rule, see? Proper attribution. I was told
I like the tone on that
you build through the draft. That's what I was told, right? That's how you build teams. You build through the draft. Okay.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure.
Competent franchises do.
Yeah, and like I said when they cut Zadarius, I wasn't too like some people were crashing out when they cut Zadarius Smith. I was, I liked Zadarius Smith. I liked what he did for you last year. He had 9 sacks. He's a good player, but where he is now is he's going to, if he wants to win a ring, he's going to have to be a ring chaser. He's going to have to accept that 1 year, maybe not a veteran minimum contract, but definitely not $11 million a season. So that's what it is. And people that are saying, Brad Holmes was asleep at the wheel. Brad Holmes sleeping during free agency. He signed over 20 guys. Like he signed over 20 free agents because they had to. Because
you need to field the team.
You got to field the team. So that's where a lot of that money went to, and you still have a chance to bring Zadarius Smith back. It's up to him.
And if he
wants to win a Super Bowl, he's going to take a contract like that with a contender. If he's not, he's going to go get a bag somewhere.
If you want to be mad at somebody, be mad at the Cleveland Browns for structuring all those void years on his contract to the point where they had to cut him. Because I assume the initial plan was they did want to keep him. He was under contract for 2 years, but that was an impediment. And now you have 16 more million to go try to re-sign your guy.
No, I mean, that is exactly it. Woodward Sports chat thread. Jump into there, get your thoughts out there. Where was it? I had a good one here, and now I lost it, so my apologies on that. Cody Engel, only Ermanni thinks that the window is closed, LOL. Don't worry, he'll pop back up. As the season gets closer. And there'll be a clip of him saying, I think this team will win the Super Bowl. I'm going to say it. He's going to do it. I'm going to say it. This Lions team can win the Super Bowl. I truly believe that.
Neil, I hate you.
What?
Because you got the cadence down. I'm just going to say it will start with that. Plus
I've known
prediction.
young Ryan for many, many years, okay? Young Ryan would probably be the first person to tell you that young Ryan loves to speak emotionally. He does. He's an emotional fella, and I think that's why so many people can relate to Ryan. A lot of times you speak with your heart and not your head. Is that the best way to say it?
Yeah.
Really. And that's so many people do that. I get it. I had to, Neil, the one thing that I had to do is you have to be able to look at things not as the way you want to see them, but as the way that they are. And that's why so many times people have said, why are you a hater and stuff like that? And, I've heard that more times than you can shake a stick at. You can't speak from emotion, man. You can't. And hey, listen, you guys, if we're being honest, we all did that a little bit last year, right?
Of course.
There's not one person in this room, I don't give a shit what any of you say. By the time November rolled around, late November, you knew how the Lions season was going to end. You knew how the Lions season was going to end. Nobody wanted to admit it.
I said it, and I got chastised.
I got killed for it.
I said I don't think the Lions will win the Super Bowl because after Ali McNeil and them went down, I was like, I don't think the Lions are going to win the Super Bowl.
You can't. Same thing. We had a clip, and I got bombed for 2 days.
Me too.
Guys, you can't have that many injuries.
Show me the loss. Tell me where it happens.
It defies description. It really does. It defies description. And then, when we really knew and people still didn't want to admit it was the Buffalo game.
Yeah.
The Buffalo game was like, to the people out there that didn't want to admit it, the Buffalo game basically told everybody, eventually this is going to happen. Now, did I think it was going to happen where it happened? No, I didn't. I thought we'd beat Washington.
Well,
I
no,
did.
but here she saw, and this is going to, I guess, a good segue to what's coming up next. What happened to them is what happened to Michigan and Michigan State this weekend.
Sure.
When you get down to it, you're not playing UC San Diego. You're not playing the Vikings. You see what I'm saying here? Like, you're not playing Bryant.
I disagree with that because
when you get down to it at the end.
When you get down to it, you are a better team than the Commanders. You were just injured and you turned it over 5 times. So it's not like they lost to the Eagles.
No,
You know,
well, I mean, because they didn't get there.
Yeah, they were the number 1 seed. They're a better team than the Commanders. They should have won that game, but the injuries and then the turnovers.
But that's it. That's what I'm getting at is like literally we knew in November, we really knew in December. Most of us didn't want to admit
the injuries
and the injuries were the number 1
The
reason.
injuries were the Lions 3 for 17 from 3.
Yeah.
Like you knew it. We knew it. Like it was on the resume. We chose to ignore it.
And before we go to break, dude, that is what I've said. I said it multiple times now. It's like the reason the Eagles won the Super Bowl wasn't because of Saquon Barkley. It wasn't because of Jalen Hurts. It wasn't because of Nick Sirianni becoming a super coach. It's because they had 21 of 22 day 1 starters playing in the Super Bowl.
Because all those names you listed played.
That's what happens. It's a war of attrition.
All right, let's talk about Planet Fitness, everybody. We're live at the Planet Fitness Studios, and over spring break, I changed it up, and I started going after work. Now we're off spring break. Had to take the kid to the dentist this morning, so we're going to continue that afternoon tradition, but it doesn't matter because Planet Fitnesses are all over the place. They're open pretty much all the time. So again, whatever your schedule is, it works at Planet Fitness. There's tons of cardio equipment. There's tons of weight equipment. There's tons of whatever you need to get done what your goals are. And you can do it at any one of the over 50 Planet Fitness locations in the Metro Detroit area. Go to planetfitness.com, join there, or just pull in the parking lot and you can join there. $24.99 a month for a black card. That's it. That's all, guys. I got no other secrets for you. Planet Fitness. Don't pay more money to lift the same weight.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
No one gives away more cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well, why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
I think you won. David Tully, everybody. David Tully. This guy's got a hot girl.
Bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning. From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Dr. Pierce, attention sports fans, don't miss out on expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Join him every Tuesday on Big D Energy and Thursdays on Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, where he offers top-notch injury advice. Trust the guy that DMAC trusts. Dr. Jeff Pierce here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit them at michigansportsandspine.com or give them a call at 248-426-9944.
All right, keeping it pushing. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neil Rule, Sean Belesian, Import, DMAC, KG, Spencer Baxter, Chase on the Chase Lounge, all of you in the Woodward Sports chat thread. Subscribe to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel. Don't forget, too, if you're more of a podcast kind of person, we have that for you. iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, you can get Big D Energy as well. Jump into that chat. Get your thoughts out there. If you want to skip the line, use the Super Chat. Shad216. Would you rather have no injuries or not commit 5 turnovers against Washington?
No injuries.
I would rather have no injuries because then I wouldn't have had 5 turnovers against Washington. How about that?
I mean,
I wouldn't say that, but
Well, who got beat on the fumble? Who got beat?
yeah,
Graham Glasgow.
yeah, it was Graham.
My guess is
still
they
be out there if
probably
you had
would
no
have
injuries.
made a certain quarterback's life more difficult too had they had their
Yes.
proper defensive line. I'm going out on a
Correct.
limb.
You saw
If arguably the best defensive lineman in the league was in there, it probably would have made a difference. I don't know. Call me nuts, but
you saw a somewhat healthy team overcome 5 turnovers and win a game in Houston. If you don't have the 5 turnovers against Washington, do you probably beat Washington? Yeah, but then you get killed by Philly. So
Fair.
I'd rather be healthy.
Yeah,
And my point is, if I'm healthy, I don't get the turnovers.
Yep.
Burn in the super chat. I wonder if you flipped how 2023 ended with how 24 ended. Would people be less panicked and scared than they are now because
They
it
would.
would be linear?
Absolutely.
They would.
Burn, 1,000,000%.
well, it's the linear thing. It is. It's
Yeah, absolutely.
honestly, it's the linear thing. It just people have to get it through your head that it is not linear. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is, but it is not linear. And I'm going to keep saying it. I think the Detroit Tigers are going to be yet another lesson of why it's not linear. I hope I'm wrong.
shit.
Sorry,
The Lions
JP.
were linear until this
Yeah,
point.
100%.
So, yeah, shit.
Yep.
And shout out to Shad again in the Woodward Sports chat. Doubling down.
Yes.
We are doubling down. Would you rather have no injuries or not commit 5 turnovers against Washington? No injuries.
No injuries. I think everybody would pick that.
Because if I have no injuries, I don't have 5 turnovers.
Still,
Again,
technically
I don't know,
right.
I don't know if it's linear, but you can overcome 5 turnovers easier if your team's healthy.
Yeah.
Well, when backups get beat,
There wasn't a backup in.
Yeah,
Graham Glasgow wasn't a backup. He's
no,
a starter.
I'm saying like when there are backups at spots, like it's an all encompassing thing,
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
Game
yeah.
plans are different, play calls different. Like
You could be fully healthy and he throw 5 turnovers.
Yeah, they
Unfortunately,
we did.
And this is where we have to fall back on that you have to own it and go, injuries are part of the game. And it sucks,
Sure.
but it's, here we go, both things are true. Yes, they are part of the game, but you tell me, all right? Half of those guys are with that team that day. I like the Lions' chances, I do.
Yeah.
Adis 411. Let's talk XFL. How about the UFL? Shout out Michigan Panthers.
Shout out
They're
Michigan
1-0.
Panthers.
So
1-0,
there you go.
baby.
There you
It was a
go.
Yeah.
good game.
They play Friday too. That's what's being slept on about this Friday. Yeah, it's opening day, but they also play that night at 8:00.
And the Wings are at home.
Yeah, it's a
Friday
big
night,
weekend.
too.
It's a big weekend.
wild,
But
man.
y'all go support the Panthers, man. They're gonna be at home in Ford Field. Just take your drunk ass across the street, man. It ain't gonna cost that much. Just support the team. So shout out to the Panthers.
Michael Daniel, my most favorite show on this network is now Big D Energy. And Michael Daniel, you've opened my eyes to the need for a left-handed first baseman. So there you go. It's win-win. But all right, Michigan State and to a lesser degree Michigan both put out to pasture by the same Auburn team. And I guess, Sean, like, look, I gave you the box score of what the loss was going to look like before we even started this thing. And it was always going to end this way for both teams. It was always going to end this way. You can ignore it, like we ignored it, like we were talking about. We ignored the injuries with the Lions. The injuries for the Lions were the 3 for 17 from 3 for Michigan State. You can ignore it, but this is what they are. And when you get on the floor with a very, very good team, with a 1-seed team, with a team that has the juice to win this whole thing, you can't have it. You have to make 3-point shots in this day and age of college basketball. You certainly can't be 3 for 17. If you're 3 for 17, you know what that leads to? 5-minute scoreless stretches.
Yep.
I know, because I saw it with Oakland. And they'll tell you that. When you have that happen, you cannot win. And it was always going to end this way, Sean, and lo and behold, that's the way it ended.
It's kind of funny because as I was watching the Michigan game late Friday night and that horrific stretch where you thought, okay, maybe, and then Auburn just said, we're just better than you. I kind of felt the same way watching the game yesterday, and Spenny and I were talking about this a little bit. You never like it when your team loses. No, but nobody likes it, okay? It's a lot more tolerable for me, and I'm not telling any of you how you should react, okay? I'm never going to be that guy. But it's a lot more tolerable to me when you lost to a team that you weren't going to beat. They were better than you. And that was my sentiment yesterday. And Spenny, Disappointed? Well, of course. It would have been great to mix in another Final Four. But how Auburn was that much better, okay? They were. You guys watched the game. Auburn was that much better. And it wasn't even a Herculean performance by Auburn, if we're being honest. But that they were that much better. So in that regard, yeah, it's like, I don't know. I wasn't that devastated. Spenny, were you in the same? I wasn't that devastated by it. It sucks, but it's like when you get beat by the better team, what do you do?
Yeah, it sucks. The reason I was disappointed was because it was a winnable game, because they didn't look like a juggernaut for points of that game, and but if you go out
Broome
there,
did though, especially to start that game.
Yeah, Broome did. But if you go out there and you're an average shooting team, you win that game.
But they're not an average shooting team.
But they're not an average shooting team, and to beat the number 1 seed, you have to play better than you are, and Michigan State did not play better than they were, and they lost.
Spenny, Sean, is it a failure considering the fact that they were unranked to start the year? We asked JB. He said it wasn't a failure. Just thoughts on that. Is it a failure?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I don't think Elite Eights are good enough. Winning the Big Ten is cool. I like that, but I don't think Elite Eights are good enough. And, losing to the 1 seed just to miss the Final Four, it's about as close as it gets to not being a failure, but I don't care who you lose to. I still expect more.
Well, going back to the linear discussion, at some point you have to do something in any tournament. In any tournament you're in.
You got to beat somebody that's
you got to beat somebody good.
Yeah.
Like that's just the way that it works. And again, you can play Bryant and stuff like that, and yeah, you're going to win. But at some point, you got to rise up. You got to rise up and beat someone either you're not supposed to beat or someone that had you beat in a game. At some point, you got to beat the allegations, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the way it is. So, and I'm curious, Sean, to hear your take on it, because I'm with you, and this is a respect to Michigan State and what they are and what Tom Izzo is. Yes, that's a failure. Like, you're not in the Final Four, man. His history, his resume suggests that he goes to the Final Four a lot.
But I just say that considering that, Michigan State didn't have a lot of expectations going into this year. Yeah, they were supposed to be better than
they
what
won.
they were.
They won the Big Ten going away.
Yeah. But
they won it going away
after the season transpired. Yeah. No, expectations change. They do.
You know what we have to do, and I know nobody likes to hear this because I've had this conversation with my buddies all year and probably with Spenny a few times. You have to accept what we are. Here it comes. Are you ready? They're Big Ten good.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. That's the way it's been for a long time now. Anytime you are left, tell me if you've heard some kind of variation of this, okay? Anytime you are left to lament over what might have been, and now we're going on 5 years with that 2020 team, doesn't that kind of tell you where you're at? And again, not bad. You'll take an Elite Eight. I'll never, ever, ever, I don't care who does it, I will never dismiss a conference championship. Mm-hmm. You can't. Mm-hmm. I think you're being an idiot if you do something like that. I think you're trying to troll with people like that. I really, truly do. I will never, ever, ever piss on a conference championship, okay? But if you want to be called elite, you have to do elite things.
Yep.
And it's been a long time since this program's been elite. And that is not a shot at Tom. No. That is a factual stat. Tom Izzo is a treasure. He really is a treasure. But if we're being honest, and this is where, again, I can't let my emotions come into the conversation. If you told me they were elite today, I would say based on what?
I agree.
And can you include anything that has happened in this decade? That's where we're at. That's where we're at. We're halfway through this decade. And can you include anything that has happened in this decade?
No.
And then we'll continue to have that conversation. Because when you're left to say, oh, there's no doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind, man. 2020 was the team. They were going to win it all. Okay. You know what? I know.
Dayton fans say the same thing.
1,000%, man. There are a bunch of different teams that are playing that tune. And I don't like saying it. Because again, let me say this further. That man is a treasure. He really, truly is.
Love Tom Izzo.
This is where we're at. And that's just the truth. Sorry. I mean, it's not my job to make you feel better about yourself.
This is where we're at. Where are we at on socials?
We are everywhere on socials, whether you're on TikTok, Instagram, X, Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube. you know Woodward Sports has a presence. So follow us on all social media platforms at Woodward Sports. Wherever you get your socials, Woodward Sports is there. Give us a follow at Woodward Sports on all social media platforms.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Listen, I'm not sure who, but somebody let the Tigers get hot.
The Detroit Tigers are locked and loaded for another great summer in Detroit. And it all starts downtown at the biggest home opener party in the city. Join Woodward Sports at Grand Slam Festival as we take over the Detroit Opera House parking lot. A big-ass tent for a big-ass Detroit party. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFestival.com or follow Woodward Sports on X and IG for your chance to get in for free. Party across from Comerica Park and hear the roar as the Tigers take the field for the first time in 2025. DJs, food trucks, bartenders, live broadcasts, and more. See you for the Tigers' first home game of the season, April 4th at the Grand Slam Festival with Detroit's biggest party animals, Woodward Sports. A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports. Head to woodwardsports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. Woodwardsports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at woodwardsports.com.
Neil Rule here for Caesar Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of Woodward Sports. And guess what? Scan the QR code above my head right there. Download the Caesar Sportsbook app. And when you make your first deposit with the promo code Woodward1000, you'll be able to make your first bet. And if your first bet loses, your very first bet after you deposit using the promo code Woodward1000, if you lose that bet, you'll get it back as a free bonus bet. Like a do-over, I guess you could say. And Caesar Sportsbook's one of the OGs of the sports betting game. The app is clean. It doesn't glitch. If you're a live bettor, that's important, and you know that. All the markets are available for you as well. So, again, use a promo code Woodward1000. And your first bet, if it loses, you'll get it back all the way up to $1,000 as a free bonus bet. Scan the QR code for more details. Caesar Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of Woodward Sports. All right, keeping it pushing. Neil Rule, Sean Belizean. We have KG, Spencer Raxter, Chase in the Chase Lounge, all of you in the Woodward Sports chat thread. Appreciate you guys tapping in on a Monday. Click the like button if you're there, if you don't mind. That would be awesome. Woodward Sports chat thread, Justin Galena. Auburn is not usually that good at basketball. They just bought a Final Four. Galena, they were in the Final Four like four seasons ago. Like Bruce Pearl's walked in the door and did what Bruce Pearl does. Dude's an elite coach. Elite coach. Mike G. Neil pointed at shooting for MSU going south. I mean, it was the resume says, the math says that it was going to happen. Noah Messi, Michigan State's in a good spot. Tom just has to be more open with the transfer portal, and they can win a national championship. You guys know how I like the money side of stuff, right? Mm-hmm. How about this one? The SEC, which will play 35 games before the NCAA men's basketball tournament final, which, it's set in stone now. Right. One of them's going to win, so one of them's going to, the national title game. The SEC will earn 35 units. They played 35 games, so you get a unit for every game you go into. They will receive roughly $70 million for its performance in the tournament. Is by far the highest total ever, eclipsing the 25 units the ACC won in 2016. Jeez. The Big Ten was second with 21 units, which will pay an estimated $42-ish million. The Big 12 was third with 20 units for $40 million, so that's interesting. Yeah. The Big 12 was able to win when they got in there and got $40 million. Followed by the Big East. They got 9 units for $18 million. The Mountain West got $12 million from its 6 units. And the West Coast Conference had 4 units for $8 million. So, with that being said, that goes to show you the SEC teams, when they get in, they won. And the Big Ten teams, they beat the teams they were supposed to beat, and then pretty much just kind of leveled out. The Big Ten still has not won a national title since before high-definition television. That's just the way that it is. Why? Why, Sean?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't. I mean, it's not like there haven't been really good teams, Neil. There have been a lot of really good teams. Heck, that Michigan team that made the run, I think in particular in 13.
Yeah,
right?
The reason is because they called goaltending on Trey Burke. That's the reason why we haven't had one in that amount of time.
But I mean, think of all the really good Spartan teams. And Neil, if you got an explanation, I'm listening for it. I am somebody, the why doesn't matter as much to me as much as trying to tell people stop putting your chest out. I used to say it about Big Ten football all the time. When people, not that long ago, okay, if you wanted to make the argument today, you're well within your right. But not that long ago, people in this area were absolutely delusional about the Big Ten's place. They were. We weren't winning big games. There was a pretty good stretch where we were winning a lot of big games, and Michigan State did it a little bit, if you remember, leading up to Ohio State winning the national championship in 2014. And you had to put up with arguments from people saying, well, we're the best conference out there. Well, based on what? What would you use? What would you use as your evidence as to them being the best conference out there? And while I don't think that Big Ten basketball fan is as delusional, okay, I think a lot of people are guilty of putting this conference on a plateau that they do not deserve, Neil. And there's no other way to say that. And it's been that way for quite some time. 25 years, you guys. 25 years. That's a quarter of a century. That's insane. Now, I don't know about you. Many of you weren't even here, okay? Where I was 25 years ago and where I am, that's like 3 lifetimes ago. Mm-hmm. Are you kidding me? But here we are. Those are just the facts. That's the reality of the situation.
To me, Sean, if you want to know the why, because the why is it gets to a level like I talked about. And I think this tournament was and granted, all the 1 seeds went for the first time since, 2008? I think that number was.
Second time in tournament history.
Yeah. So, but I think the why is once things get to a level, when they get to a level, I'm talking about like a talent level where a guy like, Johnny Broom is out there, right? That dude was different than everybody else on the floor. Is that fair to say?
Fair.
Yep.
A lot different.
Yeah, both games.
That Florida backcourt is different than any other backcourt that's in the tournament. Is that fair?
That's fair.
Yes.
Cooper Flagg is different than everybody that we just talked about.
Yeah, transcendent.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, that's what it takes. That UConn team that won back-to-back champion. You know what I'm saying? It takes that level of talent. Not like good, Sean. When you talk about Big Ten good, it's got to be more. And there's proof everywhere. They're just that the top-end talent isn't good enough. And I know that hurts to hear, but that's the fact.
I know nobody likes to hear Big Ten good, but that's the reality, you guys. It is. And I think we saw late Friday night, which I'm going to say it again, damn you for starting that game so late. Like, damn you. Honest to God. What was it, 10-10 that game went off Friday night, KG? Mm-hmm. Like, damn you. Even for a youngin' like you.
Yeah, it was tough.
That fucking sucks. Let's be honest.
No, I had to take a nap during the day just to get up and watch
it. Right.
Yeah, just to get right to watch
sucks. But we saw it. Mm-hmm. We saw it with both our teams. Right now, Michigan and Michigan State are in that, well, golly gee, we had a nice Big Ten season. One of them won the conference title. The other one won the tournament title. Like, nice Big Ten seasons. But unfortunately, on the big stage, here we are having the same conversation we've had way too many times in the past quarter century.
Justin Galena says they bought that Final Four, too, talk about Auburn. That was the first year Nil started, and they won. Well, Justin, you can do it, too. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't lean on that anymore.
I would love to buy a Final Four. I would love to buy a national championship. That's what college sports are now.
100%. I said this about Michigan football. Okay, you can put as much shade as you want on that championship. Okay, I'm serious. As much shade, I wouldn't apologize for a damn
I'd take it
thing.
in a heartbeat.
Oh, I don't.
Give it to me.
Yeah.
Let that happen just one time to me. You take every shot you want, Neil. I'll take every smug comment you could ever possibly think of, and I'll smile and shake my head and go, "Yep,
Yeah.
yep,
Yeah, we
yep."
cheated.
And then you know how it would end every time, Neil. I think you know how it would end. That's how it would end every time.
Yeah.
Yep. You're right. Oh no. Yeah. No. Yep. You're right. Yep.
Yeah, we
You have-
cheated. I
said
for
it
sure.
day one. You got nothing to apologize for.
Nobody beat us.
Yep.
There it is.
And you don't.
Yeah. I don't recall.
D-Mac's fist. Cooper Flag is going to take LeBron's spot. I think we need to calm down with that a
Yeah,
little bit.
like, relax. San Antonio might get him, though. I really think they pushing for that.
Yeah. So again, I mean, I wonder about that. You know, I do. I wonder, like, what the deal is. What's going to get him over the top? Because they're
sorry, real quick, because this shit's annoying. Red Fly in the Woodward Sports chat said, U of M had an 8-win season last year. What's MSU's excuse? They weren't good enough.
just like Michigan.
Right.
It's kind of the same thing. It's amazing. Yeah.
I know you.
You're right.
Yeah.
Am I supposed to argue?
No, what's
You're
their
right.
what's their excuse? They weren't good enough.
Yeah, homie, you got to stand down.
They got beat by a better team, and that's a problem for everybody in the Big Ten right now. You're not excluded from that either.
Yeah.
Sorry. Do I apologize for that, Neil? Do I apologize?
You shouldn't.
Sorry.
Chris in the chat, the why is coaching. I'd argue it's the same for football and basketball. Izzo, Beeline, Painter, etc. They're incredible coaches. They're not at the level of the guys that can get it done. And, like, see, here's the thing where I think we get this twisted sometimes with NFL, college, NBA, college coaching. The difference is in college, you are responsible for your roster. You are responsible for your talent. Like, that's the way that it works. And guys, that's a part of the coaching. Mm-hmm. They didn't get good enough players. They got Big Ten good enough players. They didn't get good enough players to be like. Look at the guys we're talking about: Cooper Flag, Johnny Broome, Florida's backcourt. Anybody in the Big Ten. One of these things is not like the other. You know, like, it's just, that's the way that it is. And I can tell people are finally accepting of that, Sean. Like, I can tell from Spenny, who you know, I think Spenny does a good job of taking a step back and getting control. He'll get Ermanni up in the moment, like he will at times, but
that's
then
the fan.
He'll breathe and then he'll analyze it and take a look at it. I don't see there's like a reserved calm with Spencer about this. He knows. Mm-hmm. He knows the reality. You just said it. Like, we're not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
And
flat out.
I don't know what the answer is to that. Like, Justin Galena keeps saying, well, the Auburn bought a title. Then you go buy a title.
I would love to buy a title.
Yeah.
So what's stopping that from happening?
You made a great point pre-show, Neil. It was like Johnny Broome was Auburn's transfer player. Ours was Frankie Fiddler. It's different levels.
Yeah, like that's like Johnny Broome was at Morehead State.
Yeah. Could have been a Michigan State Spartan.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying here? Like,
and that's like Izzo, you know, it's not like he completely avoids the transfer portal. Like, some important players over the past, like, you know, Joey Hauser, he was a transfer portal guy. Tyson Walker, he was a transfer portal guy. Frankie Fiddler played a good role this year, transfer portal. But yeah, if you want to win a championship, you got to get the upper echelon of player. And Jace Richardson's the best player on this team. He's not Johnny Broome or Cooper Flag.
Can I go get that Aaron Kraft son of a bitch, Sean Padula from Ole Miss?
I'd do that in a heartbeat.
I'd take that kid in a heart. I was watching him on Friday night. I was firing shit at my television. Like, seriously, you know when a guy, when you're pissed off and you're firing shit, and I'm cursing his name, and by the way, his name is spelled the same way as my name, so I always give it as a typical. But I'm watching that guy, and I'm like, oh, I want that type of guy on my team. And those are the types of guys that, unfortunately, you know, I mean, just to use an example, they're going to other places.
Yep.
Chuck Brewer asked a question, does a rough Big Ten style of basketball hurt us when we play out of the conference, or is it just that we don't have the talent? No, because and that's the other angle, right? They got the whistle they needed.
Yep. Yeah.
Michigan State did. Mm-hmm. They did. Like Auburn shot what?
And their defense, they started the second half and played the second half defensively the way they needed to win. They just couldn't hit shots.
Like and again, they got the whistle. Auburn, who shoots like 24 free throws a game or something like that, had 2 the first 30 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
Like you can't ask for more than that. It was all there. And they were 3 for 17 from 3 when it mattered. Mm-hmm. And that's it, man. Like it through as complicated as it is, man. That is the way that it works. D-Max fist because all these kids want to play for Duke. No, I mean
that's how it's always been.
That's what I'm saying.
Michigan State used to be there. They're not right now.
Well, Jars is there right now.
Jars is always there. If you want some of the best cannabis selection in the state of Michigan, all you got to do is go to Jars Cannabis. Top shelf quality, unmatched variety and price for the people. They got a bunch of locations, so find one near you at shopjars.com or check them out on social media at jars_life. It's Jars Cannabis. Make sure you tap in and get some of that best cannabis experience you can ask for.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you. Enough Detroit sports. Make sure you listen to Ermanni and Edwards with Maz next, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. on the Woodward Sports Network. The bats are hot, and the weather is getting hotter. Summertime in the D with Detroit's big hitters, Woodward Sports.
Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Stop in, sit down, relax, get an award-winning haircut from one of our lovely, talented stylists. You can get a hot leather neck shave, a scalp massage, a hot towel treatment, all of that good stuff at Lady Jane's. Just tap in. Like I said, open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men should be your only choice. You can get the King's treatment and get all of that I just said and a haircut wrapped into one. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk-ins are always welcome. It's wicked awesome.
All right, pulling up hour number 2, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neil Rule, Sean Belesian, KG, Spencer Raxter, Chasing the Chase Lounge, all of you, the Woodward Sports chat thread. Good viewership today. Appreciate you guys tapping in. Hit that like button since you're here. Scott Bellagio, Woodward Sports, you guys are the best. The best talk show. I'm watching from California, big Detroit sports fan. Go Blue. Appreciate you, Scott. Thanks for tapping in.
Shout out.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Over 80,000 subs. Subscribe to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel if you have not already. Chuck Brewer, Neil, with name, image, and likeness, are we going to see many mid-major runs from the tournament going forward? No.
No. I'm glad to hear you say it. No. It was a fun era.
Yeah.
It was a good era.
You want some too, old man?
Yeah. No.
That was a fun era.
You want some too, Dante DiVincenzo?
No.
We had a good time. Fun was had by
Yep.
many different programs. People fell in love with people, but I few and far between. You can't ever say never.
No,
You know
people will
that.
pop up and win.
Yeah,
like,
but
not. But you won't see like. You remember Belmont went to like 5 straight tournaments or whatever. You know the mid-majors, like Gonzaga.
Yeah.
The Gonzaga thing will never happen again. You'll have teams pop up like we kind of popped up last year. And again, we lost our 2 best players for $1 million in the transfer portal.
Yeah.
Trey Townsend went to Arizona. Chris Conway went to Washington. He ended up getting hurt. It didn't work out, but he got his bag.
That's the business now.
And he'd been dumb not to take it. I'll never be mad at him, man. Like, guess what? Somebody offers me $700,000. I'm leaving Oakland, everybody,
Exactly.
just so you guys know.
Especially not all these guys are going to make the NBA. Like, newsflash.
Correct.
So.
Like, that's just the way that it is. Hoof-hearted, lacking elite scoring in the Big Ten. Now, if people wanted to do a roundabout with that, I would say maybe your play style does hurt that, like in terms of getting elite scores or having elite scores. The play style does hurt that. I do think that from time to time.
I think that's because you're not going to have the grinded out national championship 54-51 anymore. I just don't see that. I really don't. I don't see that. Grinded out old school. We played a lot of defense. We shut her down. I don't see that scenario happening.
No, I would definitely agree with you. And look at this Final Four. That Duke game certainly is not going to be grinded out.
No.
Defend. No, horses are going to get out of the barn that game.
Yeah, trading buckets.
Yeah, that's the way that it's going to work. Woodward Sports chat thread. Zach Soap, what's a unit? A unit is a very confusing way that they tell you that the college teams are playing for money in the tournament. The more you win, the more money you get. A simple way of describing it is each game you win in the tournament gets you about $2 million for your conference. So you look at the Big Ten, and by the way, too, since we've been talking about this, when is the Big Ten going to start to have to pay for their sins? By the way, we saw it with the ACC, right? When at one point, when is the committee going to say, yeah, but we keep putting a ton of you guys in here, and you're all gone by the Sweet 16, Elite 8 at the latest.
It's never going to stop. They make too much money for
You got it.
You see what I'm saying here, though?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. All your schools are in major metropolitan areas.
Like, they are firmly number 2. Like, SEC number 1.
But based
Big
on
Ten
what?
is right
But
there.
based on what, though?
I get it.
The
Based
same
on the
argument,
money, that's why.
And Neil, to that point, the same argument that got North Carolina in this year, it's going to happen to one of our teams soon. That's going to be the same. Wait a second. You've been using this criteria all season, and now it suits your argument to make another argument in this way. We're going to have those conversations.
Did you see, and it's like Michigan State, for an example, did you see their strength of schedule? Yeah, but they were 1-12 in those games. But look at the teams they played. Like, you can shift it very easily. So, but anyway, backing up to it, a unit is basically how you get paid for going on in the NCAA tournament. A unit's worth about $2 million to each conference. So I forget how many teams in the Big Ten we're in? 8, 9, something like that. So you get $2 million for getting in. Then each time you win, you get $2 million more, and then you all throw it in a big pot, and then you split it among the conference.
I have to laugh because the way everybody's talking right now, honest to goodness, why are we even playing this Final Four? Because nobody's going to beat Duke, right? Right? Why are we even playing this? I hate it. I can't stand that shit. The first Final Four I went to, Neil, was also Tom Izzo's first Final Four, okay? It was, guys were jokingly talking about it on press row the Friday before the Final Four. It was the Duke Invitational, right? Well, why are we even playing? Why? Nobody's going to beat Duke. Nobody's going to – and UConn smoked them. I'm sorry. I've seen it too much. When you're talking about the Final Four, I think people have short memories. Everybody just anointing Duke as the champion, and they may end up winning. They might, okay? But it's like, man, are you new to this? I've seen it happen too many times, Neil. I think you're nuts to discount Auburn. I do. I think you're nuts. I think you're nuts to discount Florida. I picked Florida at the start of the tournament. I think you're nuts to discount Florida. I really, truly do. But you know what? Watching the mainstream this morning, it's hysterical. It's all that Duke love again. And I'm like, you guys, are you new to this? It doesn't work that way. I've seen it far too many times when you get to the Final Four, man.
Dookie Draw says that's because defense is non-existent in basketball nowadays. Tell that to Houston.
Yeah.
They choked Tennessee out.
They did. Boy, did they ever.
They choked them out. Calvin Sampson, man. That dude wins, bro.
Yeah.
He flat out wins, and he does it with guys you don't even know. It's crazy to me. But yeah, so that's Mike G. Houston can make a run here. They can because they defend. Like the nature, what gets Houston beat is also why they're good. With how good they are defensively, but by the nature of that, you're always in 2-possession games. Unless you really take Tennessee to the mat.
Right.
And
Styles make
choke them
fights,
out.
though.
No, that's absolutely it. How long till college basketball has a salary cap? That sounds a lot like you have employees when you cap salaries. Right, Sean? That sounds like
I've heard that.
That sounds like an employer-employee relationship.
Damn. Yeah, that's how.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, that is it. All right, we got some other Lion stuff to get to. You want to do that?
Sure.
I do, because I want to get in there. We're going. Don't worry. Red Wings and Tigers. Javi Watch coming up. Don't you worry. We'll get you updated.
He's back.
The road to 300 has
back.
started. Braylon Edwards told me he's going to hit 300 this year.
No, he said that for real.
Boy, it was his crazy prediction.
Oh, God.
He's back. That was his bold-ass prediction.
That's a little too bold.
All right, everybody. Let's do it. Where are we going, Spenny?
Mark White. I'll tell him about Mark White. If you're looking to buy or sell your home, Mark White should be your first choice. Your first choice because he can save you up to $5,000 your closing costs. Visit him at markwhitesells.com or call him at 248-290-8242. Like I said, he will save you up to $5,000 of the closing costs of your new home. Mark White should be your first choice if you're looking to buy or sell your home.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
The boys of summer are ready to get back to the playoffs, and there's no better place to get your Tigers coverage than Woodward Sports. Join us all season long as we follow as our hometown Tigers claw and fight. This ball is gone! Boys are back in town. Feel the roar with Woodward Sports.
Buick GMC has great offers for everyone. Get a 2024 Envision Aviator for only $299 per month, or try out the 2025 Sierra Crew Cab Elevation for $229 per month. Don't forget about the 2025 Hummer EV SUV for $799 per month. Get to Les Stanford today. Check out their massive inventory. Les Stanford Buick GMC, LesStanford.com.
All right, some Lion stuff to get to. We are going to get to Javi Watch. Don't you guys? You got to save the best for last, right? It's Javi Watch.
It's the main event.
I have an addition to Javi Watch that we're going to do this year.
Okay.
We have one hitting Javi Watch. We have the one equivalent pitching Javi Watch.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
And we'll do them both going forward.
Oh, this will be a doozy.
All of it's easily fixable.
Yeah.
It's very easily fixable. Sean actually sent us this tweet from Eric Woodyard. Brad Holmes talked about adding QB Kyle Allen. It's competition for Hendon Hooker to win the QB2 spot. They didn't feel he was ready for the playoffs. Quote from Brad Holmes, "We still have high hopes for him, but nobody's going to give him a job either," he said. "So if Hendon wants to be QB number 2, then win the QB number 2 job." So that is out there also. So, Sean, does this mean that Hendon Hooker will not be the starter this year?
Or going forward?
You caught me with that one. Do you know what it means to people like me? I was one of those guys that adamantly stuck up for that draft pick. I did. I adamantly stuck up for that draft pick. I thought that guy was dynamic. And you know what a lot of people told me? A lot of people told me that he was a product of the system. A lot of people told me that he was a system quarterback. A lot of people told me that you could plug and play multiple quarterbacks in what Josh Heupel does. And you know what? At this point in time, how could I argue in any way, shape, or form for Hendon Hooker? I can't. And that's frustrating to me. And I think it's frustrating to a lot of people. And it also blows out the window the thought last year that, well, we got a guy because he was experienced. No, we got a guy, by the way, who hadn't played football in quite some time and won a state championship as a coach. We got a guy because the other guy wasn't ready. And that's a concern. I don't care who you are. Now, I hope it's a concern we never have to talk about. God bless Jared Goff. May he continue to have incredible health and success, okay? But the reality is, yes, you have to have a competent backup quarterback. And what Brad Holmes just told me, guys, is we didn't have a competent backup quarterback in Hendon Hooker. Did he tell you anything else? Am I up base there?
Nope.
Nah, I think that, his first year he was drafted, he was hurt. So last year was his real first time actually going through a whole training camp, being with the team. And ultimately, I'll say this again, like when they drafted him, at the time they drafted him, there might have been a very, very brief consideration that if Jared Goff falls off a cliff, maybe we got something that, we can work on, and he could be our answer in the future. Once Jared Goff had the 2023 that he had, I think it became clear, like, okay, he's going to be our number 2 now. Jared Goff is our man going forward. We're going to pay him as such, and we're just going to see where the chips fall. Now, is he not showing up as far as being that number 2 quarterback? Maybe, because we haven't seen that much of him. They elected to go Teddy Bridgewater in the playoffs instead of him, and this kind of points as to why. I'm not giving up on him completely yet, but he was never going to be the starting QB for this team. Anybody that thought that, you can definitely get that out your heads now. And as far as him being our backup, hopefully we never have to use him. Hopefully it never comes down to that, and you never know what the future can hold. Maybe they can get some kind of draft capital for him from a desperate team, but that's about all it is at this point.
Woodward Sports chat thread. Diddy in the chat.
Hey.
Neil, those glasses are cute. Thank you. Your mom picked them out. Those were her favorite ones. So that one is there. Just kidding, Diddy.
That's something Diddy would actually say.
That's a Shorzy line. That reminded me of Shorzy's. You came out quick.
Diddy would take you shopping, Neil. You'll go on the Diddy shopping trip, won't you? Moving right along.
Moving right along. D-Max Fist in the chat. I agree. It's a wasted pick. And when Sean sent that over, as Sean was talking about it, as KG was speaking his piece on it, what was going through my mind, I was literally conflicted. Was it a wasted pick? And I said to this day, I said to this day that at the time I hated it. I did, because if he plays, it's a worst case scenario right away. Like if he plays, it's a worst case scenario, and you're probably cooked anyway. Right? That was my thing.
Yeah, I can see that.
But now, as we look back on it, and now as he discusses that, and obviously too, I don't think that they did even Lions management see Brad Holmes did even Lions management and Brad Holmes see Jared Goff being in the top 5 in NFL MVP voting?
They probably
being
didn't.
Second in the league in yards, 4th in touchdowns in 23.
No.
Being second in the league in touchdowns, or second in the league in yards, 4th in touchdowns in 2024. Did they see him having the most touchdown passes in the National Football League the last 3 years? More than your favorite quarterback. Did they see that? I don't think they saw that. I don't even think, if you cornered him for a moment, I don't think Stick would say, yeah, I figured Jared Goff would lead the league in passing touchdowns the last third of a decade.
Yeah.
Like, no, I don't think that. So I whipsaw, initial reaction, I was with Spenny. I said, that's a wasted pick. But now, kind of taking it in the grand scope of things, was it a security? Was it a what if? Did they draft a fire extinguisher where, in case of emergency, break glass?
I think they did.
That's what I think.
That's why I say at the time they might have had a thought in the back of their head, if Goff falls off a cliff, at least we have a young guy in our system that maybe we can put our chips behind. But after 2023, everything changed, and you got to move on the fly.
So that's why Spenny, I think I've kind of come off that. I think I'm the opposite. Like, at the time they did it, I hated it. But looking at it in retrospect, he was literally just covering all angles. I believe that. I'd love to have a drink with him one time off mic and talk about that.
And if he was covering all angles, though, the end kind of describes everything. This is a guy that isn't even good enough to be a backup. And I was one of those guys, I openly admit it. I was one of those guys that said, I would have voted for him as a Heisman Trophy voter had he not blown out his knee.
He would have won it.
He was the front runner, no doubt in my mind. He was the front runner, okay? And a lot of people, I'm just telling you from where people said to me, system quarterback. System quarterback. It was Heupel. It was all Heupel, okay? And I thought to myself, and I had conversations as such on Twitter. Okay, if this Jared Goff thing doesn't work, well, now you have the fallback, okay? Well, if the fallback isn't really a fallback, can we say it was not a wasted pick? 88th overall for a guy that can't even win a backup spot is a wasted pick. Now, I'm not writing him off completely, okay? All I can do is tell you what's happened up to this point. And I was one of those guys, and people told me, he's going to be 27 by the time he's a starter. And I was like, you ever hear of a guy by the name of Aaron Rodgers? Are you familiar with Aaron Rodgers' work and how long he had to wait and everything? Look.
Yeah, he'll be 30 by the end of Goff's contract.
Who are we talking about right now, too? Who are we talking about potentially beating him out? Kyle Allen!
Kyle Allen.
What conversations are we... 88th overall is a fail. Mm-hmm. It's a fail.
I agree.
Right. And I'm sorry. I'm always the guy who said you have to wait 2 years, okay? Let's have shit, because as you know, Brad took a lot of shit for the draft picks from last year, okay? Let's wait a couple years, right? You get a better gauge of how things look. We're 2 years removed, and here is a guy that's about to lose his job. A job that they basically handed to him on a platter. Here, you're the backup to something called Kyle Allen.
It's not official yet. We need to see how the season plays out first. But yes, if he loses his number 2 job going into the year, I think I'd be ready to say it's a failure at that point.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Logic.
Or if you never trade him, you never get even a 5th or 6th for him. If he just stays in the system and you don't sign him to a second contract, yeah, it's a failure.
So that was it. I wanted to touch on it.
Yeah.
All right. I wanted to touch on it. Some other Lion stuff that happened lately as well. Awasika was re-signed by the Lions, so they got the guard depth, I guess you could say. And Spenny asked the question. He said, are you all right with the Lions' offensive line as currently constructed? I will say this, in terms of free agency and whatever, I'm cool with that. I do want a little pepper in the draft.
I think they will.
A little paprika.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? A little seasoning. A little Cajun seasoning.
So you want a black guy?
I want one of those Bobby Boucher. When you say Cajun, give me Bobby Boucher, man. Go straight to the backwoods.
Neil still ain't answered the question.
A little black pepper, Spenny. Yeah.
I mean, I agree. I think they should grab some spice in the draft, whether it's in. I don't want.
What color do you want that spice to be?
It's black spice. It could be white pepper. It could be black pepper. I don't care as long as you could block.
Right. It could be tahini for all I care.
Spices. Yeah, honestly, it could be tahini. It could be
I'm just saying.
Honolulu spice, whatever. Some island spice like Penne Sul. I don't give a fuck. Just give me a dog, dude. And I think they will. I don't think it's going to be the first round, but they're going to get one of the first 3 rounds.
Penne Sul is Old Bay.
Yeah.
Old Bay seasoning. Yeah. He's salt and pepper. You can make a steak, just
it's
classic.
good on everything.
Right. Yeah.
Seriously, I could go do a pork butt at home, and I'd feel right at home putting some Old Bay on that.
Yeah,
I'm cool with that.
I would eat a shoe if you put Old Bay on.
Yeah, you probably.
Yeah,
you cooked it long enough.
It don't miss with too many items. It don't.
Remember that time you put Old Bay on something and you're like, why did I put that on here?
No.
Because it never happened.
No, that's a boy. Now I gotta go smoke something at home. This conversation.
Just wait. We ain't even threw the buddies back all up yet.
Okay, twist my arm, man.
Spenny, I think I want to do the. Can I punt on the who's your guy in the draft?
Yeah.
Because this was going to be my week where I get in there and I plant my flag.
That's fair.
Okay, so I think I'm going to punt on that one. Javi watch when we come back. Tigers talk when we come back.
Ooh.
Things are looking good, fellas. Don't worry.
I'm dying to get your thoughts on this Tiger team.
Polynesian pepper, as Mike said.
That's
fair.
a better one.
That's fair.
Okay.
Hey, maybe the Tiger season's not looking good so far, but you know what does look good? Some merch from shop.woodwardsports.com. That's right, the very best in Detroit sports wearables. Get gear Friday. Spenny, do you know that Friday is opening day?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know? Are you aware?
I'm aware.
Are you prepared?
I'm not prepared.
Mentally.
I got to start hydrating.
More importantly than that, physically.
Physically, I'm ready. Peak form physically.
Oh, okay. There it is, everybody. We'll see you downtown. Get geared up. Shop.woodwardsports.com.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
No one gives away more cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well, why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
Let's give it up for David Tully, everybody. David Tully. This guy's got a hot girl.
Bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning. From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Neil Rule here for Feldman Chevrolet in Novi, Michigan's #1 Chevrolet dealer. March is almost over, everyone. If you got your eye on the 25 Silverado 1500 crew cab for just $199 a month plus tax on a lease, you better get going, everyone. You better scan the QR code on the screen. If you want the Equinox front-wheel drive SUV, $249 a month plus tax on a lease, scan the QR code on the screen. Get to Feldman Chevy in Novi because they're Michigan's #1 Chevrolet dealer. They're the nation's #1 EV dealer. You guys know it's the end of the month. You know how this works. If you've held out this long, go score. Go get that inventory. They don't want the month to flip over without moving the cars they're supposed to move, so you reap the benefits. Feldman Chevy in Novi, Michigan's #1 Chevrolet dealer. All right. I was stunned. Neil Rule, Sean Belizean in for D-Mac.
Sean, don't look up.
We're almost home. We're almost to it, Sean.
I'm almost a half mile down the road.
Sean, back here.
Hey.
Sean.
Hey.
Yo, Mr. Belizean.
The pepperoni on top. Listen, I respect it. I'm never gonna begrudge you for saying I want that roll underneath, but I want the pepperoni on top too, Neil. I do.
That one in the corner, on the far right corner.
This one.
That's it. That's the one.
Now, if you could combine the roll of this and the corner of joy, where the cheese is on top of it, that's a perfect roll. Everybody's happy at that point in time.
Yeah.
Right?
That's great analysis from Sean Belizean.
Our Pizza Insider. Our Buddy's Pizza Insider. Brought to you by
You know,
Buddy's
the key
Pizza.
is too when you get that spatula under the pan, how it pops right out.
Oh yeah.
There's no tug, there's no pull, there's no some of that delicious crust stuck on the pan. Now that motherfucker gets right on your plate.
Yeah. They know how to cut pizzas, unlike people at Little Caesars these days.
Well, there's a way too. There's a lot of pressure when you're working that spatula. There's a lot of pressure on you to keep it clean. Let's just say it like that. The Tigers were not clean over the weekend in LA. They get swept out by the Dodgers, and I know what everybody wants.
Season's over.
That's it. It's all done. It's absolutely
tear it down.
All done. Tear it all down.
But cooked.
But I will do this. Let's just give the people what they want. Our first edition of Javi Watch for the season. Okay, here we go.
I'm on tonight. You know it's his
Javi played 2 of the games over the weekend. He has 0 hits, 0 runs. He's hitting .000. His on-base percentage, .000.
Killing it right now.
Neil. Just got to let him warm it up. Just got to let him warm. Bat's got to get hot.
His OPS, .000. Came up to bat twice with 2 men on in the season opener. .000.
But Neil, it's only 3 games.
Well, and I know that the Tom Masways of the world want to give him credit for, quote, moving the runners over with 1 out, but you don't, in fact, get credit for it because I look down and it's .000.
So there's nowhere to go but up, Neil.
That's a fact.
Okay, this
That's
is what you guys want.
That's actual math. Neil.
But I got told by Tigers Twitter that, in fact, nobody moves on from deals like this. Okay, then you keep him in there. You keep him in there, and in a game like opening day with two guys on twice, nothing.
He's elite.
Generated nothing. But tell me more.
But what about his defense?
Well, it's elite, right?
Invaluable.
Elite defender. So there you go. Tell me more, you guys. Tell me more.
He's a locker room guy, Neil.
I know.
Yeah. They going to get him a torpedo bat. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Can I say this? Anybody who thinks that this season is over because you lost 3 games to a team that's probably going to win 110 games, and I'm not exaggerating, I think you're crazy. But there are a lot of things we need to worry about, fellas. And some of the things that we talked about, the magic of the bullpen last year was not going to be replicated. Enter Bo Brisky. Bo Brisky was untouchable last year, guys. He was untouchable. I mean, do you remember that down the stretch? We were openly talking about the man pitched every day. He did. He had a bionic arm. And we saw what happened. Colt Keith looks like a guy who is so incredibly underwhelming he shouldn't be at this level right now. And I'm not being mean. That's not a shot.
Yeah, he hasn't looked good.
He shouldn't be at this level right. He had 10 left on base, 10 innings into the year.
Mm-hmm.
That's almost impossible.
Yeah.
How do you do that? 10 left on base, 10 innings into this year. So, yes, and Kenta Maeda's Kenta Maeda. I know, and this is just your yearly reminder to stop paying attention to those headlines that you see at spring training. Just stop it. Don't pay any attention to it because we heard about Kenta. He figured it out. He's working on new pitches, new deliveries. We heard it about Baez. Just your yearly reminder that people get caught up in that stuff. And again, before somebody cries at me, I understand it's your job and you're getting information from the club. It's not like the club's going to shoot straight with you. It's spring training. So let's just all set that aside. So with that being said, 0-3, awful team. Nah. A lot to worry about with this team, yeah, but some of us felt that way already. I did. I felt this way, and I don't think they're going to be awful. I think they're around a 500 team. I do. And that was going to be a horrendous failure after what happened last year because some people have already printed their back on top in the Central Division T-shirts and everything. The We Own the Central T-shirts coming out of the top dresser drawer. It is. Some people were ready to fire that shit up.
We own the Central.
I don't know who.
There are
who
a lot of things to be concerned about with this baseball team. You're lying to yourself if you don't see it. But it's hard not to get caught up in the emotion, right? It's hard not to get caught up in the motion.
Sean, that's a great segue. I think you should look into broadcasting and maybe see if you can give it a go.
Thank you.
You know, you should try it.
Appreciate that.
If I were you, I would try it. I'll just say it like
see.
that. Look into it. I do want to debut Kenta Watch as well. Kenta Maeda, who I, pretty much say is the pitching version of Javi Baez right now. 1 appearance, 2 innings pitched, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 home run, a walk, 3 strikeouts. An ERA of 9.00, a whip of 1.50. It took 1 pitch to give up his first home run. But he's back.
He's back.
He figured it out.
Yeah.
He did. So
velocity's up.
So there's that as well.
Good signing.
That was one of my favorite, if I may, blast from the past Rod Allen bits. I used to love when Rod Allen would make excuses for Zim over and over. He's this close. Mm-hmm. He's figuring out. He's this close. Well, he had a good outing his last time out. He did. Remember? I mean, just the excuses. We're at that point with Kenta now. And I'm watching human beings do it on Twitter on a nightly basis. Don't worry. I can hear people now. They're going to hammer the guy. Gee, I wonder why. Because what humans like you do is you use the small and try to make it speak for the large. This has been Kenta since we signed him. It was an awful signing in every way, shape, or form. And even if he salvages himself with a couple good bullpen outings, come on, is that what we signed? That's where we're at right now. We are in. I'm glad that you did that, Neil. I had no idea you were doing Kenta Watch because it deserves its own segment.
No, he
Sean,
is the pitching Javi.
He's an older player. He just needs the arm to warm up a little bit. Give him, wait until the summer.
It's only 3 games.
He's just got to get loose.
It's only 3 games. Real quick, too, for the baseball geeks out there, OPS plus, like they say that's kind of like an indicative of truer measure of performance. His OPS plus is minus 100.
Hey,
People asked about his WAR. They don't have a WAR posted for him yet.
You could only go up from there.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. So that's what we have going forward. Javi watch, Kenta watch. Your reaction to it, Chuck Brewer, Neil, but he's 4 for 4 in fielding chances, so there is that.
There you go.
LOL.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Elite defense.
Real cream of wheat. He's an elite locker room guy.
Elite locker room guy.
Nobody that's the everyday worst player in the history of baseball is an elite locker room guy.
But Neil, have you seen him put on his elbow pad?
Yes, I've seen it.
Him and Gleyber Torres FaceTime each other.
Steve, gotta let him break in the hip, Neil.
Gotta let him break in the hip.
Yeah, man. So stiffness when you
That's
first
a good
get
point, Steve.
Yeah, man.
That's
New hip Javi.
You got it's like a pair of shoes. You gotta wear it, or like a Carhartt. You gotta wear it enough, and then it'll eventually fit.
form to you. Yeah.
Zach Soap. His vibe is worth $25 million alone.
There you go.
No vibe is worth $25 million.
But
Diddy stepping up to the plate.
Shout out.
Baez just needs a night with me. He'd turn around his game real quick.
I bet he would.
He turn around something.
That'll get anybody going.
Let Diddy take you on the shopping
you
trip.
throw in a white party? Are you kidding me?
You got to tell him no. Steve.
You know. By the way, were you guys aware of this? Do you remember when the Super Bowl was here? Okay.
Yes.
Diddy rented a house out in Northville for like a week.
Oh yeah, it went down too. Had the baby oil cleanup guy on standby.
Yeah, you like saying, look it up. He about a mile away from me. There were rumors of shenanigans happening every night.
Sean went to a Diddy party confirmed.
I am so fucking pissed at myself that I didn't hop that fence. I knew exactly where the house was, and I knew a secret way to get there. And all I had to do was hop that fence to go to one white party. That's all I just want.
My man said, hey, I need 5 bottles of chloroform, 10 bottles of baby oil, and 11 condoms.
And no questions.
Right.
Steve, Neil, he's only 32. Give him time to develop. No, I will. I'll be patient.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Steve, that's a good point.
You can't put all these expectations on young players, Neil.
Burn in the super chat. I'll hear no Maeda slander. You never know what could happen when he's on the mound. He could load the bases and get out of it, or he could give up 5 home runs. So he's referring to the Maeda experience, the Kenta experience.
Yeah, that's a different thing. Yes. The Maeda experience is it's quite a ride.
Would you ride that ride at Universal?
Yeah,
the Kenta experience.
Well, it's like the Jameis Winston experience, except without the highs. There's only lows. There's only drops with the Maeda ride.
It's just how far does the drop go?
Yeah. Were you guys? Can I add? Can you? Were you guys watching? Like I'm at the point in my life. Like I'm not being. I don't get very mad during games anymore. I really don't.
I don't either. Yeah.
I really occasionally I got mad. Because seriously, he walked into a 5-3 game where you're thinking to yourself, well, we remember what happened last night. Let's wait and see. And by the way, the reversal was a joke. Can we throw that out there? It was an absolute joke.
Thank you.
Shame on Major League Baseball. Anybody who saw that, we know what happened, okay?
Thank you.
He walked into a game, it was 5-3. He gave up, as you said, a home run. He got, let me make sure I'm getting this correctly. Okay, was it a strikeout, a ground out, a double, and another run?
Mm-hmm.
Like just like that. And all of a sudden 5-3 becomes 7-3. And every gosh damn piece that was written about him in the spring goes right up my asshole. I mean, really, that's where it goes. Because I'm going to clean my butt with that, because that's all it is. It's toilet paper.
Correct.
It is. It's a waste of writing space of the new Kenta, and he figured things out, and he's been working on things, and pitching coaches and their little magic picks he does. There's nothing you can do for a guy who sucks. Sorry, you can't. He's not good. Let's all move on with our day. We'll be better. Our lives will be better. See, like I said, I don't get very worked up anymore.
Then shoot him into the sun.
No,
that's exactly it.
Guys. We're really throwing these guys out after 3 games
against
the Dodgers?
Talk some sense into us, Benny.
Maeda and Baez, yes.
Listen, we need to let them warm up into this season.
Yes. Listen, Spinny promised you.
The fucking sun. Out!
Spinny promised you 305 and 40 home runs
40
for Javi.
bombs.
For Javi. So
Yeah.
just relax.
Cy Young loading for
Yeah.
Miami.
Spinny don't get these wrong,
No,
man. Just relax.
40 bombs.
Rando Smalls in the super chat. Have any of you guys played shortstop at an elite level? Rando, no, I
boom.
haven't.
There you
So
go.
therefore,
And neither has he.
therefore I'm a neutral defender. Unlike Javi Baez, who is a negative defender. If you want to play that game, Rando, I'll play that game with you. You want to get granular about it? I'll get granular. I am a net neutral defender.
Now-
Javi's a negative
And
defender.
all right, and I know we're having fun, and I know Spenny, what did you say, 40 bombs? And
Yeah, 40 bombs.
And I'm
120
being really-
ribbies.
Are there people in the chat that are really defending this guy?
No,
that isn't real.
No, it's satire.
I don't
Hopefully.
I got
Hopefully.
I got killed
Neil-
on social
Neil
media.
actually
He
believes it.
killed. No, he did.
Spenny,
That was surprising to me. That like people were.
there are like see,
They
this is-
exist amongst
Spenny,
us.
like this is my point. Like people are like, this is fake outrage. I'm tired of your fake outrage. It's real.
It's there.
I saw it. I gave you guys evidence of it. Like there are people out there. Yes, there are people that think that he is an elite defender to this day.
Like Randall
Neil-
was joking. That comment that came from Randall. That
No,
was,
I don't think
okay,
so.
that was okay. I just want to make
I
sure.
hope. Yeah. But no, they're out, Sean. They're out there. I'm not making this up, you guys.
How
Neil,
many
you-
times have we said about this? It is misguided anger. I'm telling you, it is. I'm sorry, it is. KG, you know I'm right. You're giving me the I'm pissed at you smirk, but I'm right.
I'm laughing at Neil, man, because he is the Tigers fan version of Paul Revere. You keep trying to tell people, hey, look, Javi's coming. Javi is coming. Right. Nobody
You guys-
listens, though. Like,
it is no. Honestly, this is really. We're so desirous to win. I saw it back in the Osmus era. I mean, whether we want to admit it or not, there are two undying bits to me. You can't find one human being, one Michigan fan that will admit they were all in on Brady Hoke. Every one of you were. Don't lie to me. You were. I lived it. Okay. You can't find a Tiger fan that will admit that they were all in on Brad Osmus. Every one of you were. Every one of you. Don't.
He's
I
a former
lived it.
catcher.
Right? He's the smartest guy ever. Mensa, his dreamy blue eyes, all of it. Like it was, and so when people finally started to see it wasn't going to happen, instead of directing their anger at the right place, they would get mad at you, Spenny, or get mad at me. Well, you've been banging on the guy for so long. Yes, it's my fault. Yeah, cool. And that's the same thing, Neil. That's what we go through with this stuff. It's like, don't get mad at Neil or me or KG or whoever that told you, man, we've seen enough. This isn't working. This isn't going to work. And then you know what's going to happen? And I guarantee you it's not going to come from Javi. It'll come from Kenta. Kenta will have maybe 2 outings, mind you, not starts, outings in a row where he will look like a major league pitcher. You know as well as I'm sitting here it's going to happen. And then somebody's going to go, oh, what do you got to say about Kenta now? Huh?
Oh, yeah, 100%. My Twitter
coming.
lights up with it.
It's coming. There's no doubt in my mind. Sit, you're watching it. There'll be 2 outings, and somehow that 2 2/3 inning will speak much longer than looking at his overall stat line.
Yes. No,
It's
and
amazing.
it
to me.
will.
Sit, you're watching it.
But
It
all I
happens
know
all
is
the time.
he came into the Dodgers game where we still had a chance to win. He threw 1 pitch, and then we didn't have a chance to win anymore. Yeah. That's what happened. Nitty gritty. Neil, I'm sick and tired of the Javi slander. This man was a superstar. You are obviously biased against Javi.
That's true.
It's true.
you are.
I'm not going to argue with
It's
that.
a you problem, Neil.
It is a you prize. It's your fault. He's bad, Neil.
It is.
You should have believed in him. It's like Tinkerbell.
Rando Smalls, maybe he wasn't kidding.
If you believe in Javi, he will become elite. You just have to believe, Neil. It's like Tinkerbell.
Don't you love that logic? I swear to God, that's some of my favorite logic. And it is the media's fault. They've been so negative about this or that somehow all that negativity has made that franchise be as bad as it's been. It is
along that ilk.
Unfucking believable to me.
Along that ilk in the super chat, Rando Smalls. It's coming from someone who was a teammate, and you always have your teammates back as long as he goes out there. Rando, if you are the highest paid guy in a professional sports locker room and you suck, the team doesn't like you.
Burn in the Woodward Sports Chat says
Him and Glaber FaceTime, I'm telling you.
No, you need to scare Maeda to scare the bats awake. So that's what it is.
Can I
Send
ask you,
Maeda
was
out
it
there so
Randall?
they
I
have
want
to
to
get
make
hits.
because somebody talked about his elite presence in the locker room.
Yes, locker room guy.
Can I throw this out there? And I'm serious, okay? Are you sure that he has that elite presence that you speak of?
They seem to like him.
And I'm serious when I say that, okay? Are you sure about that? That's all I'm going to say. Are you sure about that? I just if you say something like that, just make sure you're sure about it, okay?
Give him an attaboy.
Say. You can draw your own conclusions, but just make sure you're sure. Because of course, you're absolutely right. A lot of teammates are going to say the right things if they're asked publicly. If we're going to say things like that, what I need you to do is be absolutely positively sure that he has an elite presence in the locker room. Are you sure he has an elite presence in the locker room? That's all.
When the guy making the most money is unplayable, the other guys in that locker room do not like him. It's not a shot at your character. It's not a shot at you as a person. It is a bottom line business.
And a lot of times what happens too is sometimes when we're making comments like that, it's not that he's unlikable. It's not that the guys don't like him. How about he's just a guy that doesn't really have a lot of interaction with the rest of the team? And when you add what you just said, then resentment comes out. It's not so much dislike, but I'm just thinking theoretically, by the way. It's not so much dislike as much as resentment. That he maybe he doesn't play with the guys as much, and it's not that they dislike him, but there's some resentment there. So that's why I say to Randall or anybody else that plays that, are you sure that he has that presence around the locker room?
Shout out to Broder in the chat. Baez is not a locker room guy. He's a great teammate, but not a vocal teammate. He's not a leader like that. I am 100% serious. This is confirmed.
Burn in the super chat.
Boy, Broder, you heard the same things I heard. I hope you could pick up on the way I was saying things, because it's easy. It's easy for somebody to say, oh, he's an elite locker room guy. And that's why I have to say to you, are you sure about that?
Burn in the chat. Hinch is a genius. He needs to use Maeda to encourage the other players to play above themselves like a World War I general. I don't know. He's outmanned.
Chad 216 with the super chat. He says, how many Gold Gloves are out there with a new hip like Javi?
Not many.
Daniel with the big super chat. Western Michigan hockey.
Congrats.
Shame on us.
To them.
Congrats.
Shame on us for not bringing that up.
What a great run. Awesome. They were legitimate. The two teams that I said look out for were Western and Penn State. Like, seriously. And Penn State, the way they finished the season, great story with Western Michigan. Congratulations. Unfortunately, I had a front row seat to Michigan State imploding on Thursday night down in Toledo, but props, Broncos, good for you. Go represent.
And I'm looking forward to young Justin now going to Western and wearing Western gear.
I can't believe it.
He's back. Young Justin back.
New
Western Michigan
Justin.
Bronco confirmed.
It's true.
I'm sure he will be, right?
Dat Boy Roy in the Woodward Sports Chat with the super chat. He says Torque is back to what he looked like at ASU.
Okay.
He might be back.
That's it. You know what, though? Okay, in fairness, if we're going to bag on guys, we have to...
Torque looks good.
Torque looks good.
Sure. Absolutely.
I hope it continues.
Me too.
100%.
Dante151 with the super chat. He says, Javier Baez is like the new Snow White movie, where you think it'll be a good showing, and then after a while you realize it was actually straight booty cheeks on multiple levels. I blame Al Avila.
Same.
Yeah.
Same, Dante. Same. Buddy's Pizza. I blame Buddy's Pizza for making my coworker here just space out a lot of the time. But there it is, everybody. You guys know what it is. And look, they invented Detroit-style pizza. That's number one.
Fact!
Number two, they got 22 locations in Michigan.
Fact!
Number three, they're a cornerstone of Detroit. They've been in the game 79 years.
Fact!
They do great work in the community as well. Partnerships with the Michigan Humane Society, Salvation Army, the Detroit Zoo, and more. That's pretty cool as well. But here's the coolest thing of them all. You're going to order it anyway, right? Look at that thing on your screen. Go to buddiespizza.com. Use the code 10meals, save 10%. Right? Like, what are we talking about here, everybody? It's Buddy's Pizza. I don't need the rest of this. It's Buddy's Pizza. Act accordingly. buddiespizza.com.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? Why do they like working out in the clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app online or in club and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Javier Baez, Kenta Maeda. If you want to see the best,
they'll all be downtown. You can be too.
The best of the best when it comes to baseball playing.
Elite.
You're probably going to need to put on a couple drinks before you go out there and see that. So come do it at Grand Slam Fest. Opening day, Friday, April 4th, starting at 9 a.m. Woodward Sports is going to be down there all day. Live broadcast is going to be a blast. My favorite day of the year. Come join us. GrandSlamDetroit.com is where you can get tickets in the Opera House parking lot. It's Grand Slam Opening Day Festival.
It's funny because, like, I wanted to see if Javi Baez has 2 lockers.
changing it.
There it is.
There you go. Point at the Feldman card.
So
cool too. That Silverado, I'm a big fan of that Silverado.
So I go to, oh, by the way, Neil Rule, Sean Belizean here, Big D Energy. So I go to Google. I wanted to see if Javi Baez had 2 lockers. You know, sometimes like the highest paid guys will have multiple lockers. So I wanted to see that. And so you Google that. I Google Javi Baez 2 lockers. Story comes up April 15th, 2023 from The Athletic. After the game, Baez stood at his locker wearing a black hat and sunglasses. He spoke calmly about everything that had just happened.
Calmly.
Baez suddenly looks locked in 2 games.
Boom. He's the strong, silent type. You know?
Yeah.
He's the leader of the locker room.
He got to get in that zone.
That's what you got to do.
Yes. So I wanted to see that.
I think it's funny though. At the end of the day, you don't hear very often a guy being a quote-unquote bad locker room guy. And I don't want one person to hear what I just said and say that I'm saying that Javi Baez is a bad locker room guy. I have never heard that. What I have heard, and I hope you could understand what I was getting at, is he's just a guy. Okay, there are bad locker room guys. I told you about one that the public doesn't know. Okay, and I'm not going to say it, but he was a bad locker room guy. Nobody will ever say it, ever. You'll never hear that publicly. Maybe 10 years from now, when somebody is not afraid or something,
or writes a book or something. Yeah.
Right. You know how that stuff goes. I'm just going to say this. I've never heard, not one time, that he's a bad locker room guy. Okay. I have heard he's just a guy. And you know what happens? Again, some of those propaganda machines start coming up with stories, and we have to start talking about things. And somebody gets fed what a great locker room guy he is. And say, oh, this is something to write about. And all of a sudden, you have something being relayed that just simply isn't true. And that's why, was it Randall Smalls? I want to make sure that I get it right.
No, it was Broder.
Okay, but but the original comment.
Yeah, for the original comment.
When you say he's an elite locker room guy and he, all yay team and all that stuff, just make sure what you're saying is true. That's all I'm saying. Because
Sean,
the reality is what Broder said is everything that I've heard, Spenny.
Yeah, I mean,
he's just a guy.
He doesn't need to be that vocal presence in the locker room, though. It's just the aura he exudes is what keeps this team going.
It's a definite aura.
Do you think that this team would have been able to make that playoff run without Javier Baez last year?
As a motivational factor.
Oh wait.
No, I think they could have.
Yeah.
He was a motivational factor behind that run.
They saw him
do it for Javi,
fighting through his rehab.
Yeah. They were inspired.
It's like the kid in the hospital for the Pee Wee hockey team that goes out there and wins the championship because little Johnny's got a tumor. Javi Baez with that hip propelled the Tigers to what they were because they saw him battling. They saw him recovering, and they needed that.
He's the Tigers version of Rudy.
Yeah.
He's the Tigers version of Rudy. It just is what it is.
Greg 2025. When does Baez get his first hit? What day in June? so there's that one. Red Wings, Sean. They've won some games. People seem like they're getting on board.
Neil hasn't put the shotgun up.
No, you know what? And this is going to sound really weird. Last night was disheartening when the Canadians won at Florida. For real.
I was heartbroken.
Sacre bleu.
Sacre bleu.
No, but Sean, for real, that was very backbreaking to me. Am I overreacting?
No, because like we talked about on Friday, I told you had to leave the gun in the shed. You did, and part of the reason you had to leave the gun in the shed is that whole group of teams. The thing that got the Habs back into the race was the fact they were getting points every game they went out. They lost. If you look at their last 10, they lost multiple games in overtime. Okay, the good news for them is at least they got a point out of it, right? And they mixed in some wins. What helped the Red Wings get back in this was a win. Let's keep it in perspective. A win. A singular win against a team that absolutely mailed it in, the Boston Bruins, okay? And then what happened when the Red Wings got that win, that singular win, to go, yay, we're right back in it? It was almost like the Rangers and Habs almost immediately said, well, shit, it's almost time for us to mix in another win here. And that's exactly what you saw yesterday.
Yeah.
So, this is the way it is. Look, there's a reason why all these teams are fighting for a playoff spot at number 8. I think Ottawa has kind of separated themselves in the pack.
They're pretty much clear.
They're locked in at 7, but you got the Isles, you got the Habs, you got the Red Wings, you got Columbus that are all going for this. I will remind everybody, I want you to look at the Wings' remaining schedule. Like, seriously, when your easiest game is Montreal, it kind of tells you everything you need to know about how difficult the schedule was. Neil, you know what? As a matter of fact, I'm going to waste everybody's time right now and tell everybody what their remaining schedule is. You guys ready for this?
Yes.
All right. At the Blues, who have been red hot in 12 games over 500. Hosting the Hurricanes, who are 21 games over 500. Hosting the Panthers. At the Habs. At Panthers. At Tampa. Hosting the Stars. At the Devils. At Toronto. Good luck with that.
They just got to get Javi out there, and then they can start making some things happen.
Yeah.
He's across the street, right?
Could you imagine Javi in that crease? That glove saves? Those glove saves would be nasty.
1A.
No, but Sean, here's the reason why. Because you go over the schedule like that, here's how my brain thinks. One, if not both of those Florida games now become non-negotiables. You have to have them because Montreal got it.
Yep.
And oh, by the way, the Montreal game in and of itself is a non-negotiable.
That's the most important game of the season.
You have to win it.
Yeah.
And you have to win it in regulation because of what you just said. In the last 10 games, the Canadians are 4-3-3, which by the nature of you getting rewarded for losing, which you do in the NHL, makes you 5-3 in your last 8. Really, if you boil it all down. 4-3-3 means you're 5-3.
Mm-hmm. The good thing for the Wings is they have, they have more regulation wins. The bad thing is the Habs are with the row, and they've been better head to head. So those are the things that you worry about, because if all things are considered equal, if the Habs beat them in Montreal, chances are that's when I might call you, Neil, and say, go get the gun. It's time. Like that was. I mean, it might be over before then with the slate being what it is. But if all things are considered equal and they go tit for tat leading up to that game, a Habs win of any kind in that game could be a dagger for the Red Wings. As you said, the Red Wings merely winning in overtime could be a dagger for the Red Wings in that particular game.
It was. I don't know why. It's irrational. I think that I got that disheartened over the Canadians beating the Panthers, but I did. For real, it was sadness.
Well, they've been
March sadness.
They've been. I'll say it again. The similarities between the two teams are so weird in the regard when you have young teams like this. Okay, you're going to see the massive ebbs and flows. Montreal going back to December and into January looked like they were one of the best teams in the league. They went like, what was it, 18-5-1 or something, and then it fell apart, and then all of a sudden they got hot again, and they refused to lose for like a 2-week span, and they got themselves back in the playoff picture. That's what young teams do,
Yeah, it's just, and again, you went over Montreal's schedule. And, oh, by the way, the Blue Jackets and the Rangers are in between the Red Wings and the Canadiens, too.
Islanders are still alive there. That's the Red Wings schedule that I wrote. Good luck with that. Like, honest to goodness, good luck with that.
That's not fair.
It's not fair. Exactly. That is a brutal last 9 games. It really is.
Yeah, so again, like, it is. It just feels kind of hopeless even more than it did before. You got the Rangers. You got the Rangers playing at the Islanders. That's one of their games that they have left. They have at Carolina, at Florida. They play Tampa twice. The Rangers do at Carolina, at Florida, home against Tampa. So
Rangers, it's a tough. There's something wrong with that team all year too.
I thought this was their year.
There's something wrong with that. Well, they're Charmony soft. That's first things first. Sorry, they're Charmony coochie pinch your cheek soft, and I think they played like a team who's Charmony soft.
Woodward Sports chat thread: top 5 Diddy moments. No, that's a good place to stop.
Yeah.
I sense that. I sensed that was going to happen for a long time, and guess what? I'm cutting it off.
Yeah,
right there.
Good job,
Sean. You back in Friday?
Yeah, Thursday.
Oh, you're on Thursday.
Yeah,
Thursday and Friday.
No, Matt is going to be in for opening day.
Oh, opening day. I keep forgetting. Yeah, opening day. That's
Friday.
right.
Sticks in tomorrow.
What's that?
Sticks in tomorrow.
Sticks in tomorrow. Okay, there it is. So, all right, there we go then, everybody. For Sean Belizian, KG, Spencer Raster, Chase and Chase Lounge, I'm Neil Road. Thanks for tapping in. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Well, see you later.
Hobby's back.
Hobby's back.